You're doing things every single day that are screaming "I'm broke" to everyone around you, and worse, to yourself. And I'm not talking about what you wear or what car you drive. I'm talking about micro habits so subtle you don't even notice them. But they're reinforcing a poverty mindset that's keeping you exactly where you are. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Wealthy people and broke people don't just have different bank accounts, they have different daily behaviors. And if you're constantly performing broke, you'll stay broke, no matter how much money you make. In this video, I'm breaking down 7 micro habits that are dead giveaways of broke mentality. And if you recognize yourself in these, don't get defensive. Get honest. Because awareness is the first step to changing your financial reality. This is going to call you out. But if you can handle it, it might also change your life. Welcome to She Thinks Deeply, where we explore money psychology, love patterns, power dynamics, and the deep inner work that actually changes you. If you're new here, this channel is for women who think too much, feel too deeply, and refuse easy answers. We don't do surface-level money advice here. We dig into the psychology behind why you are the way you are with money. And today, we're getting uncomfortably specific about the tiny behaviors that reveal and reinforce a scarcity mindset. Let's get into it. The first micro habit that screams broke mentality. You apologize for your prices. Listen to how you talk about what you charge. I know it's expensive, but I hope this is okay. Sorry, this is what I have to charge. Is that all right? Every time you apologize for your price, you're telling the world and yourself that you don't believe what you offer is worth what you're charging. And here's what's really happening. You're performing poverty consciousness. You're so uncomfortable with the idea of charging what you're worth that you apologize for it. You soften it. You justify it. You make it smaller. Wealthy people don't do this. They state their price. Full stop. No apology. No justification. No, I know it's a lot. But because they understand something you haven't internalized yet. An apology is a discount you give before you even negotiate. When you apologize for your price, you're signaling that you're willing to go lower. You're signaling that you don't really believe in your value. You're signaling that you're negotiable, and people will negotiate with you. Every single time. The shift. State your price like it's a fact, because it is. My rate is $150 an hour. The package is $3,000. This service costs $500. No apology, no justification, just information. If they can't afford it, that's not your problem to fix by shrinking yourself. The second micro habit. You only buy things when they're on sale. Now, I'm not saying you should be financially irresponsible. I'm not saying you should waste money. But if you only buy things when they're discounted, you're training your brain that you're not worthy of full price. You're training yourself to believe that the only way you deserve something is if it's marked down, if it's less than it should be, if it's on clearance. And that belief doesn't stay in the shopping aisle. It seeps into every area of your financial life. You start believing you're only valuable when you're discounted, when you're less than you should be, when you're on clearance. Wealthy people buy things when they want them, not when they're on sale. They understand that their time is valuable, and if they want something, waiting for a sale isn't worth the mental energy or the delay. They also understand something deeper, how you spend trains, how you earn. If you can only receive things at a discount, you'll unconsciously only allow yourself to earn at a discount too. The shift. Buy something you want at full price, on purpose, not something extravagant, something small. A coffee at full price instead of waiting for happy hour. A book at full price instead of waiting for a sale. Train your brain that you're worthy of receiving things at their full value. Because if you can't receive at full value, you'll never charge at full value. The third micro habit. You constantly talk about being broke. I'm so broke right now. I can't afford that. I'm always struggling with money. Money is so tight. Listen to how often you say some version of "I'm broke." Even if you're joking, even if you're exaggerating, even if you're just making conversation. Because here's what you're actually doing. You're rehearsing your financial identity. Every time you say "I'm broke," you're reinforcing that as your identity. You're programming your subconscious to see broke as who you are, not a temporary circumstance you're moving through. And your brain believes what you tell it most often. If you constantly tell your brain "I'm broke," it will create a reality that matches that identity. Wealthy people don't talk about being broke, even when they're building wealth, even when they're between opportunities, even when they're being strategic with spending. They might say, "I'm being intentional with my resources right now," or "I'm allocating my money differently," or "That's not aligned with my financial goals." But they don't identify as broke, because identity creates reality. The shift. Stop using broke to describe yourself. Ever. Even as a joke. Even casually. Even if it feels true. Start saying "I'm building wealth," or "I'm being strategic with my money," or "I'm in a growth phase." Language shapes reality. Choose words that create the reality you want. The fourth micro habit. You hide your purchases. You buy something and immediately feel guilty, so you hide it. Hide the bag. Hide the receipt. Lie about how much it cost. Act like you've had it forever. Or you over-justify it. "Well, it was on sale, and I really needed it, and I haven't bought anything in months, and..." This is shame around spending. And shame around spending is a direct result of believing you're not worthy of having things. Wealthy people don't hide what they buy. Not because they're flashy or showing off, but because they don't carry shame around their purchasing decisions. They made a choice. They allocated resources. They received something. Done. No guilt. No hiding. No performance of scarcity to make other people comfortable. When you hide your purchases, you're reinforcing the belief that you did something wrong by spending money on yourself. And that belief keeps you small. The shift. Stop hiding what you buy. Stop over-justifying. Stop performing guilt. You made a purchasing decision. You don't owe anyone an explanation. And if people judge you for what you spend your money on, that's information about them, not you. The fifth micro habit. You wait for permission to invest in yourself. You want to take a course, but you wait for someone to tell you it's okay. You want to hire a coach, but you need validation that it's worth it. You want to invest in your business, but you need someone to confirm it's not wasteful. You're waiting for external permission to do something that only you can decide. And here's the pattern. You treat investing in yourself like a luxury, not a necessity. Wealthy people don't wait for permission. They see an opportunity, assess the value, and make a decision. They don't need their partner's approval. They don't need their friends' validation. They don't need a sign from the universe. They decide and they act. Because they understand that the best investment they'll ever make is in themselves. In their skills, in their knowledge, in their growth. When you wait for permission, you're signaling that you don't trust yourself to make financial decisions. And if you don't trust yourself, why would money trust you? The shift. Make one financial decision for yourself without asking for permission. Invest in something that will grow you. A course, a book, a coach, a tool. Not recklessly, but decisively. Practice trusting your own judgment about what's worth investing in. The sixth micro habit. You save money, but you never invest it. You have a savings account. Maybe you even put money into it regularly, but it just sits there, earning 0.01% interest, doing nothing. Because investing feels risky. It feels like something rich people do. It feels complicated. So you save, and you feel responsible. But you're not building wealth. You're just storing money. Here's the truth. Saving is not the same as building wealth. Saving is important. You need an emergency fund. You need liquidity. But if all you do is save, You're thinking like someone who manages scarcity, not someone who builds abundance. Wealthy people invest. They put their money to work. They understand that money sitting in a savings account is money that's losing value to inflation. And they don't wait until they understand investing to start. They start small. They learn as they go. And they build from there. The shift. Open an investment account this week, even if you only put in $50. The point isn't the amount. The point is shifting your identity from someone who saves money to someone who invests money. Because investors build wealth. Savers just preserve it. The seventh micro habit, you ask, can I afford this? Instead of, is this worth it? Every time you want something, your first question is, can I afford this? And that question is rooted in scarcity. It's rooted in the belief that money is finite, limited, something to be protected. Wealthy people ask a different question. Is this worth it to me? They're not asking if they can afford it. They're asking if it's worth affording. Because they understand that they can afford almost anything if they choose to. The question isn't capability, it's priority. Can I afford this? Puts you in a position of lack. Is this worth it? Puts you in a position of choice. One is powerless, the other is powerful. When you ask, can I afford this? You're operating from a broke mentality, constantly checking if you have permission from your bank account. When you ask, is this worth it? You're operating from a wealth mentality, making intentional decisions about where your resources go. The shift? Change your language. Stop asking if you can afford things. Start asking if they're worth it to you, if they align with your values, if they move you closer to your goals. This one shift changes everything because it moves you from victim to decision maker. So let's zoom out. What do all 7 of these habits have in common? They all treat money like something you have to apologize for, hide, or be ashamed of. They all come from a place of believing you're not worthy of charging full price, not worthy of buying at full price, not worthy of having things, not worthy of investing in yourself, not worthy of building wealth, not worthy of making powerful financial decisions. And as long as you perform unworthiness, you will stay unworthy. Not because you actually are, but because behavior creates identity, and identity creates reality. You're not broke because you don't have money. You're broke because you have broke habits. And the good news? Habits can change. You don't need more money to stop doing these things. You need more awareness. And then, you need different choices. Every time you catch yourself apologizing for your price, stop. Every time you catch yourself saying, I'm broke, stop. Every time you catch yourself hiding a purchase, stop. Every time you catch yourself waiting for permission, stop. And choose the behavior that aligns with the financial identity you want to build. Here's your challenge for this week. Pick one of these 7 habits, just one, and commit to stopping it for 7 days. If you apologize for your prices, practice stating them as facts. If you only buy on sale, buy one thing at full price. If you talk about being broke, change your language. If you hide purchases, own them. If you wait for permission, make one decision yourself. If you only save, open an investment account. If you ask, can I afford this? Start asking, is this worth it? One habit, 7 days, and notice what shifts. Because I guarantee you, the moment you stop performing broke, opportunities you couldn't see before will become visible. Not because the opportunities weren't there, but because you weren't the person who could see them yet. Listen, these habits aren't moral failures. They're not character flaws. They're learned behaviors, programming, survival strategies from a version of you who didn't know better. But now you do. And now you have a choice. Keep performing broke, or start embodying wealth. Not fake wealth, not performative wealth, real wealth. The kind that starts with how you see yourself, how you speak, how you move through the world. Because you can't build a wealthy life with broke habits. And you can't become wealthy if you keep acting like you're not worthy of it. So stop apologizing, stop hiding, stop waiting, start acting like the wealthy woman you're becoming. Because she doesn't do these things, and neither should you. This is She Thinks Deeply, where we explore money psychology, love patterns, power dynamics, and the deep inner work that actually changes you. If you're ready to stop performing broke and start building wealth from the inside out, subscribe. We post weekly videos that challenge how you think about money, love, power, and yourself. Drop a comment and tell me, which of these 7 habits hit hardest for you? And if you're brave, tell me which one you're committing to changing this week. Accountability changes everything.